The Atlanta Falcons have added another piece to a revamped cornerback position for 2020, another depth piece, and a player that I believe can instantly have an impact day one at the nickel cornerback position. Darqueze Dennard was by far one of the most underrated free agents this offseason. He initially did sign with the team. I believe he signed with the Jacksonville Jags earlier this offseason, but there was still some issues working him out with the injury history that he has had. He wasn't quite healthy, so the contract fell through. He was waiting for another team to take a chance on him, and it took this long. But Atlanta might have kind of a steal on their hands with Darqueze Dennard at the cornerback position. This is a player that I've always liked, but I think recently he's kind of come into his own and had his best performance in 2019 on a game-per-game basis. Didn't play every game, but actually ranked as the 21st best corner in football, according to Pro Football Focus a year ago, and is definitely one of the more slept-on nickel cornerbacks in the NFL. I think Darqueze Dennard is going to have an impact. Before I give you my full analysis and thoughts on Dennard in Atlanta, make sure you do spike the like button, subscribe to The Bottom Line View for more NFL vids just like this, and comment below your opinion. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this move. Do you think Dennard's going to have a big impact on the Atlanta Falcons secondary, or do you think he's just going to play a small role in 2020? So Darqueze Dennard, 28 years old, maybe 29 going into 2020. Last year, he played in 9 games. He actually had one of the better completion percentages against in the entire NFL, 48.6 completion percentage allowed. Only allowed 189 yards or 188 yards in 9 games, a 74.5 rating. So just based on that performance, I mean, pretty awesome if you ask me. The year before, he only allowed 1 touchdown in coverage, a 98 rating, 71% completion. So in 2018, he wasn't as good as 2019 in a 13-game season. But I think the main thing with Dennard is not the talent. As you've seen in 2019, his performance, especially from statistics, show you that he's talented. But the thing is, he's just not been healthy. Especially the last 2 seasons, he's been missing games left and right. He's been a pretty big part of that defense, playing a lot in the nickel for Cincinnati. And with the new regime in Cincinnati, they felt it was time to let him go. He was a former first-round pick with a lot of talent. And I'll be honest, I love it when teams take chances on former first-round picks because typically they go somewhere else. And if they show just a little glimpse of something or they can do something very well, another team may be able to look at that and actually magnify it and make it much better within their scheme and within their defense. And I feel Dennard is the perfect piece here for a team like Atlanta, who's revamping their corner position. They drafted A.J. Terrell in the first round. I was a fan of him coming out. Thought they reached a little bit on that pick, but I was a big fan of him. Don't get me wrong. So I think he's going to be a good player. Isaiah Oliver, they're still trying to figure out what he is in the NFL on the opposite side. They have quite a few of these younger cornerbacks that are kind of competing for a position. But the one position I would say for Atlanta that's been a little underwhelming has been their nickel position. They lost Brian Poole a couple of seasons ago, and he went to New York. He's thriving now in New York as one of the better nickel corners in the game. And they haven't really been able to replace that position. And it hasn't really enabled them to be flexible with their defense because now they have to stick, DeMonte who is traditionally a free safety. They had to put him in nickel, and Keanu Neal goes down, so they had to shift all of their safeties around. They didn't really have a lot of depth at corner. And especially in 2020, a big theme for me is depth. You need to have depth this season because if 1 week a player is not active, they have to opt out of the week or 2 weeks even, you're going to need that depth, especially in the secondary, such an essential position. And now it kind of allows Atlanta, realizing that, okay, Keanu Neal hasn't always been the healthiest, we can probably play KZ at safety a little bit more if we need to. Ricardo Allen is there as well. They have now probably 4 safeties that they trust on their depth chart at the very least. And now they have about 5 corners that they at least feel have some potential. So that's good numbers there. Looking at Sheffield, who also played like 700 or 697 snaps according to PFF last year. But he's another guy, younger guy, that is going to be competing for a position. So you just throw Dennard in there with all these other young players and you kind of see how it shakes out. But to me, if I was looking toward Atlanta this year, maybe A.J. Terrell doesn't start week 1 because he's a rookie, and with the lack of training camp time, it will take him time to get up to speed. But this is a defense in Atlanta with Dan Quinn. They don't play like a ton of complex defenses. It's mostly the cover 3 press bail scheme, maybe a little Tampa 2 now mixed in there with Raheem Morris being the DC, but I think it's a pretty basic defense for the most part. So that being said, I don't think it will be hard for a veteran like Dennard to pick it up. It's just going to be a matter of how he looks physically, but I think he is definitely their best option at the nickel position. And I think, like I said at the beginning, this might be a sleeper pickup. He still has the physical capabilities. I don't think that's missing at all. I think it's just kind of trying to find the diamond within this former first-round pick. And maybe Atlanta has found a diamond. We'll have to see. Hopefully he stays healthy. He has the talent, and maybe a new place will get the best out of him. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in Atlanta, and they're certainly going to need the corner help versus, Michael Thomas and Michael Evans and Chris Godwin, Curtis Samuel, and DJ Moore. I mean, this is a receiver-loaded division, and if they want to compete with New Orleans, they want to compete with Tampa, they're going to need to cover. So Dennard can hopefully help them do that. We'll see. Especially Michael Thomas and Godwin in the slot. It's tough. We'll see if Dennard can live up to the hype for Atlanta. But this is a really good signing because it's not going to be worth much. And the player that was supposed to be signing way earlier in the offseason, I think it will pay off for Atlanta. I hope it does. Let me know in the comments if you guys think it will pay off. Gronk, spike the like button if you enjoyed this breakdown analysis of this signing. Thanks for watching. It's Mitch. Subscribe for more NFL reactions. Peace.